Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I am your co-host, Jason Oliver, and with me, as always, the incomparable Chuck Moore. Say hello.
Hello. How is everybody doing? How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. I'm about to fire up my turbocharger, my turbo interceptor over to Jeff Arbuckle, who is also here. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. I am doing great. I'm, doing great.
You're doing great.
Yeah, I hope everybody else is doing great.
That's great. That's so great.
Can't you tell that we just won some awards?
We just won some awards for this thrilling banter that we're so adept at.
I mean, at least
Why don't you tell them about that? Why don't you tell them about that before we announce today's movie?
Well, no, we'll go ahead and say that we're talking about the Wraith, but before we get to that and why Jason picked this, because I think there's really only one reason why Jason picked this, and I agree. But
it is definitely the big reason.
Yeah. Right. We'll get to that. But first, we do have some news. I mean, of course, we always record these in advance. So technically, this happened like 3 weeks ago or whatever, 3 or 4 weeks ago. But we were honored by being named the best TV and film podcast and the best pop culture podcast at the 2023 PopCon Podcast Awards. And just wanted to say again, thank you to those people who did the voting and did all of that stuff. And I think we didn't come across like a bunch of a-holes when we were accepting, but that's
At least one of us didn't.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't say anything, so it's like pulling teeth over there. But except for to try to, have the band strike up to play when I
clap you off stage.
Yeah. trying to pull out the hook. The hook.
Yep.
But no. We are very honored. We have, I think, some renewed vigor, and we're coming out right out of the gate with the Wraith.
Yes. The cinematic masterpiece that is The Wraith from 1986.
Get ready for lots of exhaust.
Made with that Canadian money.
The Canadian money in Arizona.
Yeah. This movie is notable for a few things, but one thing I don't think I ever realized how notable it is for is the fact that it is as a cast full of people who are the sons of famous parents or the lesser known brother of a more popular brother.
So that could even go to Charlie Sheen at this time.
Well, yeah, I mean, Charlie Sheen kind of fits both buckets a little bit.
Right.
Because yes, Charlie Sheen is in this. Obviously, the son of Martin Sheen, brother of Emilio Estevez. You also have Nick Cassavetes, who is the son of...
We mustn't forget that also Charlie Sheen is the nephew of Joe Estevez, the obviously best Estevez. the Estebest.
You have Nick Cassavetes, who arguably is the most famous parents of this bunch. John Cassavetes and Gina Rowlands. And then Nick Cassavetes became a director.
Directed The Notebook.
I mean, yeah. The villain in this directed The Notebook. One of the weepiest movies ever made, right? So that's pretty weird. Then you've got Randy Quaid, brother of Dennis Quaid. It's pretty easy to argue that Dennis Quaid is the more popular Quaid, right?
Yes. Oh, easily, yeah. I mean, he's the sanest Quaid of the bunch.
Yes, that is true.
Although
too.
I don't know, maybe Jack Quaid is like secretly like a fucking maniac or something.
He killed a bunch of people in some movie I saw. So
you have Matthew Berry, who is very, very, very. No one's going to know who the hell Matthew Berry is. I only throw him in here because he is the son of a fairly prominent New York playwright. Who I don't know who is. Griffin O'Neill, the son of Ryan O'Neal,
Dang.
and also the less popular sibling to Tatum O'Neal, arguably.
Yeah.
Then you have Clint Howard, the unreproachable Clint Howard, but still the lesser popular of the Howard brothers.
He is also filling a very, very important role in this movie as the as the sexy get the street race started off person.
Oh yes. Because
It's a very technical name that
What
you have
the
there, Jeff.
fucking universe would he be that person? Have you seen the Fast and Furious? They're always some hot chick, you know.
I think that's hilarious. Like, yes, he is the one who starts the race. It would be. I really wish they'd leaned into that as parody more, and like did the whole like male gaze on him or something.
Oh yeah.
Like get a Clint Howard ass shot or something with his butt cheeks hanging out. And yeah, so that's your main cast, and then you have Sherilyn Fenn, who I don't believe has famous parents or siblings, but
She has famous twins, though.
but she has famous twins, and she is quite lovely. This is one
Twin
of her
Peaks,
first.
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is not her first movie, but close to. She made Thrashin' the same year as this, Jeff.
Yeah, Thrashin' is pretty awesome, but
Thrashin'.
Thrashin's fucking awesome, but she's the bad girl in that, so it's a little bit more of a bit role. She is the girlfriend to Robert Rustler, who's fucking amazing in that movie.
I mean, Robert Russell's just amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, right? This is the one he's in?
Yep, that's the one he's in. He's also amazing in Shag the movie.
Can't say I've seen Shag.
I don't think you'd like it.
Is that one's got a which one is in that
Phoebe Cates
Bridget Fonda?
and Bridget Fonda,
yeah. Well, anyway, that's who's in this movie. It's a very odd cast. So I picked this movie because this is one of those movies that I watched a lot when I was a kid with my older cousin when I would go to visit family in Pennsylvania. He loved seemingly two movies and two movies only. Rad and The Wraith.
Yeah.
And
We'll get to Rad.
We watched both those movies a lot. Rad is not one that I for whatever reason, just don't have the lasting nostalgia for.
I'm glad you just said that because I was just about to say, hey, Chuck, remember when he said that he didn't have any nostalgia for Rad, even though apparently he watched it 40 fucking times?
I did watch it a lot, but I don't know. I just never was into it. I always wanted to watch The Wraith.
Likely story.
No, I also liked, what were another one we watched around that time was like Gleaming the Cube. I do have a hefty amount of nostalgia for that one. Yeah. Anyway, but yes, I always loved this movie, and this movie seemed a lot tougher to me when I was like 8 or 9, watching it. It is not. This is not the best movie. Just come right out and say.
Hey, you know what?
But
we talk about what's good, bad, everything in between, right?
But it's got some fun stuff, and it definitely has had the rewatchability factor for me after kind of coming to watch Twin Peaks, like Chuck was mentioning, and Sherilyn Fenn, because it was like that making that connection. I don't know, maybe like 15 years ago or so that she was in this movie. Was pretty great. But yeah. So what the hell is this movie about?
Well,
it's like
first,
a sci-fi
I
Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, it's a lot of things, man.
It's an 80s sci-fi Fast and Furious movie.
I do want to ask, Chuck, what's your connection with this?
If I'd seen it before, I'd forgotten. I'll say that.
Okay.
I have a few notes in here that apparently I found something funny or interesting, and now I can't fucking remember it. from the
Was the
movies.
note just says that was funny?
No, I mean, there's a few lines
That's
in
pretty
here.
helpful.
Yeah, I know. Usually when I do that, like I give myself a one word, right? And I can harken back to what was happening in the movie. This movie, for some reason, I can't. I will say, however, it is definitely enjoyable. But it's like it's the same shtick over and over again for like 89 minutes or however long it is, and some of it is fun.
Yeah.
In those moments.
That's the thing that kind of watching it again this last time was kind of like, oh, it's another car chase or another race, and it's going to end exactly the same way, but there's going to be a bitchin' explosion at the end of it.
Right.
So that's worth hanging on for.
Yeah, I watch this movie because every October I do my daily dose of spooks, and I watched this at some point. I don't know if it was 2020 or 2021. I don't think it was last year. And was I not paying attention? I don't know why all of this felt did I consume it and then it immediately like expelled it from my brain? I
think that's what happened with me.
Yeah.
Why my notes make no sense.
I always forget that it's a car racing movie. I always forget that.
I always know it's a car racing movie because it's like, oh, the Wraith. Yeah, that's about a ghost driving a car.
I know. I remember the car. I mean, the Turbo Interceptor is very memorable.
Dodge M4S.
I don't remember the whole like road race aspect. I just remember them chasing the car. But no, it's like these are legit road races.
Yeah.
And also it also has like a weird it's almost proto The Crow in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it really kind of is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know when was The Crow written? Probably a year or two after this. As far as the comic,
well, it was based on a comic, right? So I don't know when that source material was made.
I mean, I feel like it was late 80s.
The movie was 94,
right?
Yeah, I don't know, but that would be interesting to know because
it's like, what did one inspire the other? But probably not. But I mean, like. Yeah, but anyway, it's
89. The Crow
was
number one.
Was the okay. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Because there's definitely an element of that in this. It's never really explained. We just know that this mysterious stranger looks a lot like Charlie Sheen.
I've got
goes
questions.
Up on his dirt bike.
I have got questions about like.
All right, well let me set it up.
Okay. Well, no, because my questions go all the way to the end.
A stranger arrives in town. He looks a lot like Charlie Sheen. He's riding a dirt bike, and he's macking on Sherilyn Fenn. And Sherilyn Fenn's not actual boyfriend, stalker, doesn't like it very much. And he's the head of this like gang who forces people to race them for their cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slip for slips.
Apparently... There is no law enforcement in this town.
Well, Randy Quaid is trying to be.
But
he's like, one of these days I'm going to catch you in act, and this is the day.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's like
Randy Quaid impersonation.
I mean, dude, all you have to fucking do.
This shit happened back in at least the 50s and 60s. People raced for slips all the time and didn't get caught.
Well, but not being forced into it.
Yeah, but these strong-arming people.
This is strong-arming. This is illegal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no one's turned the kid in, probably, is the problem. They're too afraid of him.
Anybody can literally walk over to Randy Quaid and it's like, motherfucker, that's testimony right there. Boom. And it's like...
For whatever
they're
reason,
intimidated because as we see, this guy's capable of murder.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think this movie was secretly written by Stephen King,
and he murder faces someone, and it's possible. We don't know right away, but we do know right away that Charlie Sheen is the reincarnated alien ghost of Sherilyn Fenn's ex-boyfriend who disappeared and was murdered and then found dead.
Never found. He was never
Wasn't he found? They never
No,
found him?
he was never found. His brother is the one who's like, he's dead. And
Yeah.
I know who did it. But they have no evidence to do anything about it. It's just he was never. I mean, because Randy Quaid says his body was never found,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
then starts that gets us down the track that there's something. This movie every like fucking 10 minutes takes a different road to its destination. If I was in a road trip with this movie, I'd be pissed because it meanders its way to the end by taking all these different roads. Now, I'm not saying that that's bad because I had a lot of fun watching this movie. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean.
But even it's a Billy is his brother.
Billy Hankins.
He doesn't even believe that he was murdered. Because he says later on that I forget what he said he thought might have happened to Jamie, but being murdered by Nick Cassavetes wasn't on the list.
Right. Although, I mean, the dude's a loose cannon. I mean, and the reason why I said it feels like this is secretly written by Stephen King, the bullies in this movie are like out of fucking Mad Max.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this movie. Okay, so that was one of my notes here. I was like, okay.
They all have great names too.
Oh yeah, it's like this movie's part post-apocalyptic, part just plain futuristic, because that car is pretty futuristic, and part 80s fever dream. Because it is. My very first note was the 80s, the movie.
I mean,
this is so
a bitchin'
fucking
soundtrack too.
Well, yeah, I was about to say this movie is so fucking 80s that Stan Bush is on this soundtrack.
Yep.
I mean,
as is Ozzy.
Right, which Ozzy has my favorite song about being a secret loser, and I'm like, it's a really weird motivational song for this action scene.
And then you've got like really massively popular songs like Robert Palmer's "Addicted to Love."
Yeah, I mean, hey, I
Billy
don't know.
Idol, "Rebel Yell." I mean,
Yeah.
massive songs.
I mean, this movie
Right
may have been indie.
next to another song by Lion.
Well, now I think Lion and Stan Bush. I think I may have an explanation for that. Scotty Bros did the soundtrack. Both of those guys are also on the Scotty Bros release of the Transformers the movie soundtrack, which also had Weird Al Yankovic, who was a Scotty Bros artist. So I think that's just like Scotty Bros was like, yeah, we got we got some people to fill in the soundtrack. Yeah. But that's not uncommon. I mean,
There are 2 Lion songs on this album.
which is awesome. I mean, this is the third movie we've talked about, and Lion has appeared in it. Between this, Transformers, and Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, 4.
Was it 4 or 5?
Yeah, 4. Definitely 4.
But
anyway, but yeah. So
We also have a Loomis in this movie.
Yes.
Part of the Loomis lore lineage,
uh-huh.
which is kind of crazy how tropey that has become over the years.
Thanks, Psycho.
So tropey, I named my cat Loomis.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, your cat's not a horror movie, but sure, I'm with you.
Sure. He's got
cats can
tuxedo,
be.
though.
I mean, yeah, cats can be a horror show sometimes.
True.
He vomits like a horror show.
Yeah.
He vomits like Linda Blair from The Exorcist.
But yeah, so boy, the camera really likes Sherilyn Fenn as Carrie Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from the moment, man, she's got that 80s like long button-up shirt that's being held together by a belt and like the little boots, and it's like she's like the 80s chick with the hot pink lipstick and everything. And then she goes, and they're like, well, we're not done with her yet. We've got to get her to the river to where then we can just put her in a bikini. And one of my favorite scenes early on is her and Charlie Sheen kind of having like their second meet cute, because the first one is when he gets into town, he's asking for like directions somewhere, and then she's like, oh, okay, well, I'll take you there, but then boyfriend shows up and he forces her to ride with him. But anyway, they get to the river, and they're like oddly paddling on these inflatable little rafts, and it cracked me up so much because the way they're having to paddle around these things is so uncool. And I'm like, Charlie Sheen would not ever do this in real life, but
Tiger's blood.
because they're like, their arms are like way out to the side and they can only paddle so much, and they look like little children. Like trying to be like,
that looked like a very, very relaxing lazy river though.
oh sure. I mean, yeah, I mean it's the only water in Arizona, so
and that
it's got
place
to be
has
probably
got a
pretty cool.
natural hot spring apparently as well, as we find out later.
I thought we were talking about the
Or
Sherilyn Fenn.
maybe
Still, I
maybe
don't
the
know.
water just boiled when Sherilyn Fenn got in it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They keep saying the water's too cold for people. I don't know, but anyway,
She just needs to get into it.
just get in and yeah. But then it bakes everybody, and it's
Yeah.
a problem. Um, yeah. So, can we talk about car explosions? Because I love a
Yeah.
good car explosion as a car is tumbling down a cliff.
We should
It's very
talk
Italian.
about car explosions.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Toonces, right? I mean it's like I kept thinking it's like Toonces is in this race, but yeah, it's and it's kind of funny because this movie it's just a series of the same thing happening. The Wraith catches up to somebody, they race without ever knowing who the Wraith is. The Wraith causes an accident, which then leads to an explosion, which then sometimes causes the car to tumble, but at least the car's exploded. And you kind of have to applaud how this movie is dedicated to that repetition.
Right.
The interceptor, turbo interceptor gets ahead of the other person it's racing far enough to where it's like around a corner or a bend. Then it parks in the middle of the road, and it doesn't give them enough time to stop, and it just plows right through the car, both cars exploding into bits and bobs.
And then the
fiery
interceptor goes and it reconstitutes and drives off.
Yeah, like it all disappears, like all the wreckage disappears, and then it all comes back together and drives off. Yeah.
I was really
while the
looking
car is
forward
in flames.
to finding out what Augie style was, how he planned to win the race with Augie style. But then do it Augie style. I'm like, what the fuck is Augie style? And then he blows up, and Steph's like, that's Augie style.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and well, there was one time where a whole chop shop explodes.
Yes, that's one hell of a good explosion too.
That's the best one in the movie.
That
Yeah.
thing is obliterated. I think I wrote something along the lines of exploded that garage to kingdom fuck.
Kingdom fuck. Okay, around this time, maybe you guys will know, we're a little bit ahead, but I wrote the word poozle. Poozle. And that had to be in the movie, but
Poozle.
yeah. Because then I write, okay, that explosion was Koozle right after it. So I don't know what Poozle stood for. It was something in the movie.
Pazuzu?
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I know that I do know that Rughead, which is Clint Howard, because he has a literal rug standing upright on the top of his head.
Yes, yes.
He's like fucking Eraserhead in this. It's kind of great.
He has got a racer head hair for sure.
And so this kind of snaps him out. He's like, he already called the thing a Wraith before.
Yeah.
Right.
And he actually even
An
pulls
evil spirit, and it ain't cool.
And it ain't cool, guys. And it also helps pull Randy Quaid over to say, hey, maybe this is also, maybe this is weird. Maybe something weird's going on here. You can't stop this thing. It's because he's seen it too. Like he has seen it plow through cop cars and then disappear down the road a bit. But anyway, Clint Howard's like, man, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And he's telling Randy Quaid he's pretty sure that Packard, who's the Nick Cassavetes character, killed the Jamie Hankins. and he doesn't want to die for something he wasn't there for, and he isn't. He's like, Clint Howard is kind of the innocent of this.
Well, he's spared. We
Yeah.
don't see him again after
Yeah,
that
after
scene.
that, he fucks off
Yep.
to Kingdom Come.
Kingdom fuck.
Right. But he's like, man, I don't want to go down for anything. And he even also was like the person who's, he tells Gutter Boy and Skank, it's like, this was all cool when we had the upper hand. We don't got that anymore. So I don't want to be a part of this anymore. But he's not telling Packard that. It'd be insane.
Well, even Packard is thinking this because he says things are getting a little too equal these days.
Yeah. And
so he's realizing that the gap is closing on him.
Well, yeah, because you have to assume that anybody who saw the interceptor or is aware of what's going on with the race that killed Augie.
Something's definitely weird, right?
Right, and it's like, hey, maybe we can get rid of this guy, and be done with this terror on this town. Which, by the way, the Randy Quaid, where are you fucking at? But
Randy Quaid even says it at one point. He's like, he's making it his job to take all you out, so maybe it ain't so bad,
Right.
He's just kind of like, well,
Yeah, because he even says when Packard died, sorry, spoiler alert. He's like, well, there ain't no more gang members left.
He's done.
So this is over.
Yeah.
So I think there was a little bit of letting it run its course a little bit.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, seriously, I think, I think Sheriff G.L. Loomis is like one of only 2 fucking cops in this whole town.
It's a pretty small town.
I mean, it's mostly desert. So it's like, unless you're deputizing like jackrabbits or something, you ain't got a fucking force,
Right.
So yeah, it's so yeah, maybe he was a little bit more powerless, but then again, he's the fucking law. I mean, I'm sure other people could come and help, Anyway.
Right. There was another good line when Clint Howard was talking to Loomis and trying to tell him he thinks that this is Jake or Jamie, whatever his name was, resurrected.
Jamie.
And Loomis is like, bad feelings don't add up to resurrections, buddy.
Yep.
That's a good line.
I mean,
like
Randy Quaid's really good in this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
he's chewing his scenery for sure.
Yep. Well, everybody's chewing. There ain't scenery left. Everybody's chewing it.
I mean, you saw it. They didn't even have any grass anymore.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It was practically a desert when they left that place. But
it's award-winning content right there, boys.
Yep, there it is.
That's right.
Mark that down and submit it. But anyway, no, it's because Cassavetes is like, I mean, he is over the top as Packard.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, he is like, there are things that he does in this movie where it's like, oh my god, he needs to die now. He needs to get the fuck out of here.
When he kidnaps Sherilyn Fenn
my god, just takes her from work.
He kidnaps her and he's got her in the car and they're pulled over the side of the road and he has this whole monologue about how he can't feel pain.
Yeah.
Because of how he feels about her or something or other. And he grabs his knife and the blood starts trickling down and then he tastes his own blood, then he wipes it on her face.
Yeah.
He's like, we're like blood brothers. I'm like, you're not brother. You're weird.
You're weird is what you are. You're just, you're gonna be dead soon.
Yeah. You're getting to your peak here. Yeah, he's got a lot of strong, some massive 4chan energy.
You're gonna get exploded soon.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to go back to the Big K's burgers and celebrate.
I would die if I actually saw some girl at like a horror convention or any convention come rolling up in roller skates with Big K's
with the
burger.
Big K's apron or something on. Yeah.
No, just the whole outfit, because like it's like,
Well, they have to have they have to be identifiable as Big K.
well, no,
Big K's
there was a
Burgers.
tank top. It was like a little cut off
Oh, is
tank
it a
top.
tank top?
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just Sherilyn Finn's.
I don't think I was reading anything.
Well, I was reading everything because it was really stretched thin. That was a
Like
tiny.
the
Maybe that's
scene
why
in
I
Stand
couldn't
By
read it. It
Me,
was just-
where you're like the M and the Y, or
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't see him anymore.
Right.
I mean, that was a
Right.
tiny shirt. That was a very small shirt, Jason. I mean, there was no room for anything under it. I also, was this intentional or was it a mistake that Charlie Sheen had all of his scars and then didn't?
Yeah, and they kind of faded and came in and out, depending on who was doing makeup that day.
I think
Because there was one very obvious one on the throat.
Yeah, and there's a
I
bunch
think
on
in
his back.
so. In the
Like he's
beginning,
been
you,
having sex with Sherilyn Finn a lot.
in the beginning, you have that whole thing with the Close Encounters balls running down the road.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
I think when he's first reconstituted, he has all those scars, and then they fade over time.
Okay.
That's
I
the
mean,
way I saw it.
Ooh,
but-
you know what would have been a cool thing they could have added is every time he killed one of his aggressors,
It went away.
One of
Yeah.
the
a
scars went
scar
away.
would have like faded off of his back or something.
Let's go with that. I like
Yeah.
that.
But the neck one should have been last, and it was one of the first to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yep, there it is. Yeah, Chuck just shared the
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yep. Anyway,
It's just Big K's burger, though.
Big K's
There's
yeah,
no
burger.
there's
S
only
on
one
it.
burger.
Yeah.
They only have one burger there. And
She's
it's
got
Big
it
K's.
in the
Yeah.
picture.
Right, and she's got it right there. Well, yeah, because that's another thing that's said is that like when Sherilyn Finn Carrie wants to be taken home by Billy Matthew Berry, which I want to say Matt Berry.
I know. I keep
No,
thinking
you
of
don't.
what we do in the shadows.
Right. Well, I'm
Jackie
thinking
Daytona.
of
You're thinking of Gareth Marenghi.
yep.
But this is why you need to see what we do in the
I
shadows.
know, I know,
This
I
is
know.
ridiculous that you haven't seen it.
I know. But anyway, so like she wants him to take him home before fucking crazy guy shows up. And then when the crazy guy shows up, he's like, I'm gonna race you for your car. And he's like, well, how are you gonna get any burgers made? See, like Big K Burgers already knew, like, you know, like already was aware that it's like one of these days Packard's going to come and take our only fry cook's car, so we can only make one burger a day because it's going to take them all day to get there across the desert.
Elite level joke there, Jeff.
Oh yeah,
Well, I mean, I don't
that was a long way getting there.
It was a long way. But you know what? I took all the turns and
It
different
was
routes
the
to get there,
Wraith,
just like
the
the
Wraith
Wraith
of
did.
jokes. Yes.
Yep.
I have a note in here that the Road got more screen time than Charlie Sheen,
Yeah,
which I'm pretty
yeah.
fucking sure is true.
Yeah.
Like there were so many shots of just the road. Like, you know, obviously it's trying to show you the cars racing and
And
whatever.
speed, and yeah.
But I'm like, God, enough with the fucking road already. I get it.
Like Charlie Sheen already was like, "You got me for 3 days. Let's go."
Or that was him just fucking flying down the road snorting a line, like off the middle, the middle of the road.
I mean, possibly, but I feel like he's more of a line off of a woman's bare ass type of guy, and not off just the road.
I think you take it where you can get it, Jeff.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Tiger Blood.
So I was looking at Charlie
Blood.
Sheen, and while definitely a face, he wasn't huge. I don't think he was in Red Dawn, which was huge.
He was like third or fourth billing.
But right, exactly. And then he had the one little scene in Ferris Bueller, and then he was
Yeah.
in Platoon. I don't know when this movie came out relative to the Wraith.
Oh,
or relative
Platoon
to
was Platoon was pretty big. I mean,
Was
like
Men at
that-
Work-
But again, like he's one of an ensemble in that.
Was
right?
Men at
Right,
Work
but he-
after this?
Yes, Men at
Yes.
Work was like 90 or so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because that's
no,
when
I
those
mean,
boys got like their starring roles.
Yeah,
as I
Man at Work was
remember.
90. I mean, he was. I would argue Charlie Sheen hit it finally, like really big with Wall Street,
I mean,
which was the next year.
Charlie Sheen, but Charlie Sheen was, I mean, yes, it's part of an ensemble. He's
And
the
then Young Guns in
character
'88.
followed. He's the character that's followed in Platoon.
It's true. He does get a large share of
That's
the
true. That
the
is true.
story.
Because he's the one. He's the I mean, he's the
He's
one
a
narrating,
sympathetic.
and he's
Yeah.
narrating the movie, and he's
That's
the
true.
one who has to deal with crazy Willem Dafoe.
So we'll just say that the Wraith was just kind of probably dropped in the middle of Charlie Sheen blowing up, or
Right.
about to blow up. Because I don't think anybody really saw the Wraith, and he probably didn't want anybody to see the Wraith.
Oh no, nobody saw the Wraith. It was made for 8 million Canadian, and only made like 3.5 million
It
worldwide.
made like $2.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
Two loonies.
I know it made my money on video rental.
I think
every
if I
summer
had if
for
I had
several
seen
years.
this, yeah, if I'd seen this movie in the 80s, I'd have a much different perspective of it. And it's not like I dislike it, but I could see it being like one of those movies that I kept up with like every few years. I need to watch The Wraith. I need to watch The Wraith. Or we need to put that in our spooky month or whatever.
yeah.
It's got that kind of appeal to me. Like if I were a kid, I'd like it a whole lot
Mhm.
more, probably.
Well, and the poster itself, I was looking at it because I saw it on the Wikipedia page, and it's like that's a weird poster because it's like it's got
It puts
the drawing.
characters in a position they're never in the movie.
Well, yeah, because like even the brother Hankins, the Billy Hankins is like looks like cool action guy. He never wears anything like that. He's always the fucking fry cook, And then you've got crazy guy who looks like he's pals with everybody. He's not. And
Yeah, this
Charlie
is just
Sheen,
not a scene that describes the movie at all.
no, but what it does, what it does look like? It looks something like the Goonies poster in a way, where it's like, oh, look at this band of young people doing a thing, and oh, the Wraith, and he's not from around here, and it's like, but this does not say anything about what this movie is at all.
Here. That's not the one you're talking about is not the poster that I know this movie from. Not at all. My guess is that was an alternate poster that they whipped up when they found out no one was buying tickets. That I just put in our chat is the poster I remember.
See, I remember that.
Yeah,
Which
I
one?
mean that one.
The one Jeff's talking about, or
No,
the one with the guy where
one
it
you
just
put
shows the Wraith with his black suit on and his black hat, a black helmet with the car behind him and the light.
but
Just
you know what I
raised
see when I see
underneath it.
this?
That would draw me in as kind of like a Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Like, hit
it's
me with Back to the Future vibes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at this alien robot man that came from the future. I would be massively disappointed if I saw the movie based on that cover.
Maybe not when you were 8 or 9.
Well,
Yeah, maybe. I mean-
I wasn't disappointed. It was actually in the movie. How many times could you rent a movie that didn't even have the shit that was on the cover?
Well,
in it?
every single time the thing said fucking canon on it. I mean, yeah. So,
I mean,
mean,
the car was in it. The Wraith guy was in it.
I think it's the
And he was
Augie
blowing
kill.
people up.
The Augie kill when he's standing up on the mountain like that, and it's super fucking creepy. Cool.
yeah. I mean, that is. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and it is a
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, because I mean, they've got a shot of that right here. The backlighting in this is so fucking 80s and great.
Yeah.
Also, I do think it's funny that IMDb has a lot of pictures of Sherilyn Fenn in swimwear. A lot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
fucking frame by frame at one point.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's like whoever's submitting the photos for IMDb is got a
They
thing
know-
going on there.
They know what's up. They know.
So, Jason, I don't know if you mentioned this earlier, and you may have kind of alluded to this. So, I'm assuming with all the times you watched The Wraith, when you first saw Twin Peaks, you were like, "Oh shit, that's my girl." Or
No, I mentioned this earlier that I didn't put it together
you didn't put it together. I
until
knew
I
you said
watched
something.
The Wraith again sometime after watching Twin Peaks,
Gotcha.
and I was like,
I could-
"Holy shit, that's Sherilyn Fenn." Fenn.
Sorry, I couldn't remember how you described that. I wanted
No,
to
no, I definitely
clarify.
did not remember what she looked like.
Which
'Cause
is weird.
it had probably been a while. I mean, I didn't really watch Twin Peaks until about 2001 or so when it was finally released on DVD.
Oh, so it wasn't a weekly for you. You watched it
No, I didn't watch it. I
all.
didn't watch it live. No, no, I
Ah.
watched it all when it hit DVD. Um,
But she, even in this movie, like when I saw her, I'm like, that's not Sherilyn Fenn. Oh, that is Sherilyn Fenn. She almost
I
doesn't
actually,
look.
she does look different.
she does
Yeah.
look a little different, and she looks more like what I expected in the why can't I think of the
Boxing Helena.
no
I
the
don't
one
know what.
the one we were talking about earlier, Thrashing. She looks more like what you expect of her in Thrashing.
Gotcha.
I can't
Yeah,
put
I
the
mean
G at the but
she's a little younger. She's playing the basically the girl next door
Right.
role. So
right, and she
she's
is
kind of
not
she's
the
got more
girl
of a
next
she's more
door
of a
in it.
brunette. She's more of a
Right.
brunette, so she doesn't have a hair dye job. I don't think going on.
I mean, she's still extremely attractive, obviously. I was just like, I don't think that's her. Oh, it is her.
Yeah, and it's almost like she's kind of tan.
Her
Yeah,
face
as
is a
well.
little overcolored, it seems like.
Yeah,
I don't know how to
it's almost
describe
like
it.
she has a tan.
that's another one of
But
those kind of weird
she's got
80s
that
things.
mole though that you're
Yeah.
like if you weren't sure, you look at the mole and you're like, yep, it's her.
Yeah.
But it does seem a little it does seem a little 80s of her to have like that kind of bronze look. It's somewhere in between being tan and burnt that actually then comes across almost when you're a brunette, it comes across as your skin is the same color as your hair. Kind
And
of
it's
thing.
just not the way that's just not her look
Right.
moving forward, right? She's kind of been
she's
known
preppy.
for that porcelain, like pale complexion.
Her hair's not curly at all.
Right,
Like there's
right.
no curl
Her hair's
to it.
kind of unruly in this,
Yeah, and then this, I mean, she's a little preppier in this because in Thrashing the same year as Velvet, I mean, she's got like black hair. She's, like I said, she's not the girl next door. It's it's what I expect. Like, because the moment she showed up in that, I was like, oh yeah, there, there she is.
There she is.
Yeah,
yeah. She's kind of like a little bit punk rock in Thrashing, isn't she?
Yep.
Yeah.
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 And I'm a
Much
little bit
different.
rock and roll.
Yeah.
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 but but anyway, but yeah, because at first I thought she was the blonde at the beginning. It's like, oh, blonde, okay, because like even that girl kind of had a similar look, right? But like after I kind of saw her, or saw that blonde character which is kind of funny, that whole opening, like those people, we never see those people again. Like they just happened down the wrong road.
Well, this is funny. Like Steph had to explain that to me. I was like, wait, that's not the main character. I thought he was supposed to die. And she's like, that's just the example of what happens to people. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, like, how do you know this?
Yeah, because it's like, because it took me a little bit of time to realize, oh, they just kind of accidentally drove into like a spider web, like
Right. They were
Packard
just
has
showing us what happens if you
Exactly.
run into Packard.
Yep.
And Steph caught it right away. And I was like, stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I was with you, Chuck. I thought, oh, these are people, because I also wonder. It's like, wait, is that Jamie? It's like, no, I don't think so. But
All right. So back to the movie. Roll it. I don't even know, like, honestly, Jason, you had mentioned prior to us starting that there's not a lot of meat on the bone,
There's
right?
not a lot of meat on the bone. There really isn't. I mean,
But at the same
we're picking
time,
it. We're picking it pretty clean.
But I
We
mean,
can talk about the gang and their names because
I do want to talk about the gang because
they have some pretty wild names.
well, it's more than their names.
Well, Jason, you tell us the names, and then Jeff, you can go after that.
yeah, okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have to talk about, is it Skank?
Yes.
the one who's always sipping on like motor oil and WD-40
Well,
and
but
antifreeze
it also seems like that he's also like snorting shit or shooting shit because it's like oh damn, that's got a kick. It's like he's
legit. He's legit ingesting poison
yeah,
on the
yes.
regular. Yeah.
well, at one point,
Even at one point, our main bad guy, who's a legit murderer, warns him he needs to stop drinking all the shit he drinks
Before it fries his brain.
before it fries his brain.
he calls it zombie piss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And he's kind of like he's got like a mohawk and dyed hair, and he definitely looks straight up out of Mad Max.
yeah, I mean because that
Or like Dead End Driving. You know, he'd be right at
Yes.
home there.
yeah, that's where I was kind of getting that futuristic thing because like the gang feels like that it's like they feel like a authority, like an authority, right? Like they feel like the real authority because like when Randy Quaid shows up as the sheriff, I'm like, oh, I guess there are cops.
Right.
You know,
I mean, even Big K's burger looks like it's gone through a nuclear fallout.
yeah. Although I'd eat there because like
Oh, it's probably got the best burger you ever
Oh my God,
have.
well,
Yeah.
and apparently Billy will put some Thousand Island dressing on it.
Mhm. He makes a
Sounds
Big
pretty
Mac.
good. Yeah, pretty much.
You've also got his buddy Gutter Boy.
Gutter Boy.
Yeah.
Gutter
Jamie
Boy is,
Bosian, who reminds me of the fucking dude, what's his name? It's escaping me now. He's in No Country for Old Men. He's the deputy sheriff.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name either.
He
but
reminds me of the character he played on Deadwood, who killed Wild Bill. Because it's like teeth are kind of rotted out, and he's kind of got that weird like half grin. He's creepy.
well, he's
Gutter Boy's creepy.
Gutter Boy is mentally deficient.
Well, yes, but he looks very creepy. And nobody's going to save me on.
That's what you're saying.
Oh, Garrett Dillahunt. That's who I'm thinking of. He reminds me of a young Garrett Dillahunt.
Augie was probably like the most like obviously like secondhand man to
Yes,
obviously.
obviously. Yep.
Yes, that's Ryan O'Neal's
O'Neal.
son.
Yeah.
And
And
he's kind of like he's the only one who feels like he can kind of talk back to Packard.
although at one point I think
place.
he got like something like got a shotgun shoved in his face or something.
Yeah.
Also Minty, he was one of the guys who was he the first one that was kind of basically sacrificed to the Wraith?
Yeah.
Why do you call it sacrifice? Never mind.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
mean,
He was
because
like it's my turn. I want to go. I want to be.
well, Packard never raced him directly. He always sent his fucking lackeys out.
Well, they all wanted to. Like he
Well,
volunteered. Yeah.
But like
Packard
Packard's
always
like
gets the fun.
yeah. But I mean, like at one point, like Packard's like, oh, that motherfucker, that guy, and it's like, then you fucking race, and then out goes Augie. And then out goes Augie. You know, it's like step up. You know, like grow. You know.
Yeah, I read that the other way. Like they wanted to do it, and he let him. It was actually like a chain of command thing that actually worked in Packard's favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
As far as like running his group, he let his
That's the
people.
way.
Yeah,
That's the way I read it too. Yeah.
But I mean, like when it came to like Skank and Gutter Boy, they're not racers. They are.
He wouldn't let them race. They're the mechanics.
They're the mechanics. They're the ones who chop shop everything. And Rughead
They got
is
chopped in the shop.
yeah. And Rughead was like the technical guy who knew the capabilities of all of the cars.
Yeah, so Rughead he's the engineer. He's the when Packard makes mention that things are getting a little too equal, he's asking Rughead when the new injector is going to be finished, new fuel injector, because it's gonna make his Corvette faster, you know, get fuel quicker. And he's like, oh, it's pretty much ready to go. And He's got that, and he's got a couple other things.
Well, he's got the
built.
one thing that shuts down the electronics if he
Yes.
tries to get away.
Right.
That
But,
seems cool. The engine
Wraith,
looks
but
cool.
before that, the Wraith comes in and he fucking like shoots up the whole shop. And he shoots up all the cars and he shoots the engine block that the new injector was in.
Right.
So that was like the real big loss that they had put a lot of time and money into, was that new injection system. That's what Rughead has taken with him when he's beating Cheeks.
Yep.
Because he's got his briefcase of blueprints.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are so smart.
Yeah.
You're wicked smart with this.
Wicked smart.
But yeah, no, and I do like how like this movie is like everything is a Dodge. Like they only want Dodge, and these are like the mid '80s like shit Dodges.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the Daytona and like at least I don't think any of them had any of the crappy Chargers. Or no, wait, maybe Skank
looked
did
like
have.
looked like one of like the mid to late '80s Ford Mustangs is in there. I think was that the red car? Was that like an '80s Ford Mustang? Because those were kind of crap.
No, that was the Daytona also.
That was
All I
Daytona.
know is
Or
there
that
were
it was
no,
either
like,
a Daytona or a Charger.
There were no like
Patrick drives a
triangle
Corvette though.
pyramid cars in this.
No pyramid cars.
Well,
Yeah.
the Dodge Turbo Interceptor is almost a triangle car.
It looks triangular.
It's almost a triangle car. Yeah. Yeah.
These guys.
It always cracks me up though, seeing the Chrysler Dodge symbol on the front of that car and the Dodge lettering in the back. It kind of takes a little away from the mysterious nature of the car, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like Ghost Rider.
Oh, it's on the Interceptor? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, that was how I knew it was a Dodge, because every time they showed it from the front, it's like, oh, there's the Dodge Chrysler.
Yeah.
So,
And I didn't notice the Dodge decal until the very end, but it's there.
It is at the very end.
When he gives the car to his brother. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the car becomes normal at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Dodge
still,
was probably like, we'll build this car for you, but you have to advertise.
no, they
it.
built it in 1981. It was the only
it
car
was
they ever built of that. It was a prototype.
It's a
Oh, so
pace
that's an
car.
actual prototype.
That's a
car.
real car. Yeah.
See, why
Yeah.
didn't you guys tell the story already? This is interesting.
Oh, but yeah, it's a real car.
I mean, that's as far as I know. It was built in
Dodge,
81.
It's a Dodge M4S, is what it is.
See, I mean, that was interesting.
1981 as a technology demonstrator vehicle.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's a cool looking car, but yeah, this is as far as it got.
4-cylinder sport. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't see anything about there being a Corvette, because at the end there's very specifically a credit that says special thanks to Dodge and Chrysler.
Yeah.
They would have thanked Ford if it was, or a Chevy if it was an actual Corvette.
Oh man, they used to have one in the Chrysler Museum, but the Chrysler Museum closed in 2016.
I mean,
That is too bad, because I think that's the only place you could see one was the museum. It's pretty cool.
It's not the one of the ones that it was the one. It was it. I think they only built the one car.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Or maybe they probably had a bunch that were like the shells.
Oh no,
right?
yeah, they were definitely dummies that blew up.
Yeah.
I mean, and those, yeah,
It could go. It was a pretty fast car. 194.8 miles per hour was its top speed, and could go from 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. That's pretty fast.
that's pretty fast. Yeah, not too bad for only a 4-cylinder
Yeah, yeah.
car. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that to me, as a kid, really, honestly, it was all about the car, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the era of Knight Rider,
And
right?
my cousin and I were car like nuts when we were kids, and loved like all the sports cars of the '80s. It was kind of a golden era for luxury sports cars. Like the Countach and the Lamborghini,
There's the Porsche 911.
the Porsche 911, the
I'm
Ferrari
just trying to
Testarossa.
I'm just trying to remember all the micro machines that I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
because
yeah. But yeah, I mean those were the big three. Like probably Lamborghini Countach, the Ferrari Testarossa, and the Porsche 911. Right? Those are
yeah.
iconic '80s cars. Yeah.
Um, so this is kind of interesting about this movie also. So The Wraith was released in the United States on November 21st, 1986, which was 4 weeks before Platoon was released.
Ha ha ha.
In the
If only they'd waited.
All right. In the Philippines, the film was released as Black Moon Rising Part 2 on April 29, 1987, connecting it to the unrelated film
Tommy
Black
Lee
Moon
Jones.
Rising,
Yeah.
starring Tommy
Yeah.
Lee Jones. Yeah. But in Germany had a cool ass name. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it in German. I haven't taken that in a long time. But the English translation was Interceptor, Phantom of Eternity. It's a
Phantom
badass
der
title.
Ewingkeit.
I like
W's
it.
aren't W's in German.
Ewingkeit.
Doing bait.
EV.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I like
joking. I
Phantom
can't
of
even see it.
Eternity.
Yeah.
Ewingkeit.
So I did have so back to Clint Howard. I got a story about Clint Howard because I know you didn't watch the 90-second fucking video I sent you guys on Friday about something else. But anyway,
Send me on Friday.
so this came up in a video I saw, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, it was like this little thing about like, was it true that Godzilla was given a lifetime achievement award? And technically, it was true, and it was part of the MTV Movie Awards, and they used to give out a lifetime achievement award to like, the first one went to Jason Voorhees for all his kills. The second one went to Godzilla, which there was a guy in Japan who accepted the award, and then at the end, Godzilla like accidentally stomps on him, and like the video feed cuts out. And then there are a few other, like Chewbacca got one, like so that he could finally have his fucking medal or whatever from the end of the first movie. But then they gave one to Clint Howard. And Clint Howard's acceptance speech is like so freaking heartfelt, and like he's really touched and moved by this. And MTV felt so fucking bad because it was a joke award that they never gave it again.
Oh.
They never did it again because they were like, we may have gone too far this time.
I actually knew that, and I think I sent an article to you that you probably didn't read about that because Godzilla
Ooh,
was
shots
one
fired.
of
I'm
because they did
ducking.
it like 4
I'm ducking
times or
between
5
the
times.
two.
you said,
Right. It was like 4 or 5. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Reading about that for some reason, I can't remember why.
Yeah. It's pretty, I mean, like, it's kind of funny, but at the same time also sad. You know, it's like, but it's pretty funny. And the Wraith would say what?
What year was it?
I don't know what year. I mean, sometime in the 90s.
80 or 94, I think, was the last
Something
one.
like
Something
that.
like
Yeah.
that. I'll tell you this now, and this has nothing to do with the show. If you send me a video in the middle of a working day and it's longer than a minute, I'm probably not going to be able to watch it. And I have to remember to go back and find it.
Well, it doesn't say like how long it is in the preview either in Messenger. Right. So it's like, yeah, I'm the same way. It's going to get lost.
Well, either which way, that was the whole story.
That's cool though. That's cool that cool and sad that he got. I didn't get that context in whatever I read, that he was like taking it seriously. I think, God, I wonder if that memory, just to kind of move forward a little bit, gave him his reaction to the whole Joe Bob and Darcy thing, because that felt a little disingenuous almost.
Yeah.
Even though they were being, I think, really kind of honoring him, he probably had bad memories of that MTV thing.
Damn, that's interesting.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, because I kind of don't, I mean, like, I don't really fully remember how the whole thing with Joe Bob and Darcy
They just had
out.
a cool video honoring him, but afterwards, somebody saw him at a con and they mentioned seeing him on the show, and he was like, "Fuck those people! They
Yeah, he's
screwed
like
me
they
over."
did me dirty, is what
Yeah,
he said. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So there's not a whole lot more context than that,
Huh.
but
Or
yeah.
maybe just Clint Howard is just impossibly bad at reading people.
Reading,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you live in the shadow of your older brother, and I mean, there's a lot that could be in the mind that can cause you to
Sure.
misread those
I can
things.
given that context, yes, that makes a lot more sense now. Before I was just like, dude, you just completely missed the point. But maybe he had an old scar,
Yeah.
and it
And
reminded
obviously,
him.
this is just me putting two and two together, not knowing anything. But
Yeah, I mean, I do.
now he's never
vaguely-
going to listen to us again.
Well,
That's
yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean, well,
I mean, he's the only one in the gang that survives. So
that's true.
Yes,
Good,
sure.
good on
kind
him.
of the anti-hero.
Yeah,
I guess
but-
the Wraith is sort of an
he's
anti-hero.
just-
but
yeah, the Wraith is. Did you call him the Wreath?
the Wraith, yeah, that's how you pronounce it, right? The Wraith.
yeah.
The Wreath.
I watched
It's a
my
Christmas
favorite
movie.
Christmas movie. Yeah.
It's a favorite Christmas movie. I'll add that to the to the diehard Gremlins in the debate. What about the Wreath?
You cannot debate Gremlins, can you?
Well, no. I mean,
I mean, that's
certainly
clearly
would.
a Christmas movie. Yeah.
I mean, Die Hard, definitely people argue that. I've never heard anyone argue Gremlins. I was curious if that was actually out there.
I think it's just mostly butthurt diehard people when I say, well, really, my favorite is Gremlins. They're like, blah, 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 blah. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's just a fucking movie, man.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah.
But anyway, no, I like this movie. It is.
Let's talk about the very end of it and then get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because the end of this movie is
drive
where
off
I
into
have,
the sunset
Yeah.
with
Well,
Charlie Sheen on his dirt bike.
yeah, but I have more questions than that, right? At one point, so there's one point where Charlie Sheen and Sherilyn Fenn have sex in that river, and that can't do anybody any good. But like at one point she's like, I had a dream about the man in the moon was laughing at me, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, seriously, like that is so awkward. There's a lot of awkward lines.
Her
that-
brain. Okay, so do you really want to know?
yeah, I would like to.
Because I
Yes,
have
please
an
do.
interpretation.
Yes, please do, because I was like, what the like.
She
my
doesn't know
note-
what Charlie Sheen is, right? But he's an
Okay.
astral. He's an astral kind of thing that's come back to Earth to vengeance, whatever you want to call it, right? When you dream at night, your brain will give you your interpretation of things in kind of a muddled way to try to explain to you how you feel about it. So her having the man in the moon laughing at her was her brain telling her, I think this dude is from outer space.
Yeah. I don't know. Sure.
I don't
mean,
know.
that would be my logical explanation, is that like, how do your brain like muddle shit up when you dream? Like,
Yeah, because it's right after that she gets kidnapped at work, and then she reveals to Packard that she knows that he killed the guy that she was yanked off of in bed.
that she wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to remember. So that whole
Yeah,
thing
see,
doesn't
that's
make
why-
sense. But
Yeah, I don't.
whatever.
Yeah, see, again, I have a lot of questions because there's just some things where it's like, yeah, well, she's in the room, and it's like, yeah, but I mean,
I think it's a mistake to take any of this film too seriously, because really it's a vehicle for a vehicle
that's
to
fair.
drive down the road.
I mean, and
right?
it is
Like, I get
yeah, I
having
mean, 'cause
questions, but it's not asking you to think about that stuff.
that's
It's not
fair.
like you need to figure out what this means. It
That's
doesn't-
fair, but my bigger questions are coming here in a little bit.
Oh no!
But no, like it is already a little wonky when you realize that Charlie Sheen has to specifically explain to her that he looks the way he does because that was the best he could do when he was reconstituting himself. And it's like, you've gone too far, movie. you're just say, hey, yeah, I have my spirits in this body now.
when he like changes from the Wraith into Charlie Sheen, he's like, "Whew, not gonna be able to do that again." It's like, Well, why were you able to do that in the first
At all.
place?
Yeah.
At all?
Why is that not just a cool outfit you got?
I figured
Is there
this
some
whole
sort of governing balance in the universe you've been sent to restore?
I honestly figured one of you would come to this episode and say, "So Charlie Sheen wasn't originally cast in this movie.
That's what I would assume.
They filmed the murder scene before."
That guy fucked off or something.
This is what
Before
I
they-
think. This is what I think. I think that they wanted to keep an air of mystery
Sure.
about who this guy was. And the only way they could make it work even a little bit logically is to have him look like a different person and not the boyfriend come back.
Right, and not tip everyone off who the
revenge from
fuck
the
he
grave.
was.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Too.
I still think you could have done it though. I think you could have had him like Jeff we were talking about earlier with the scars, maybe
Yeah.
he's all fucked up and you can't really tell, but every time he kills someone he gets a little bit more like himself, and that's when people start to notice, oh shit, it's Jamie. Yeah. I think they just kind of blew it.
I mean, they could have even done a thing like they did in the most recent, like the Shin Kamen Rider movie, where like the helmet and the suit are like part of him. So like as he is
Like
claiming
Darth
the
Vader?
victims, he can start taking parts off of the suit, and it's like then it doesn't really matter who's under the. But then you couldn't have Charlie Sheen.
Because they could have
sticking
very
it to
easily,
Sherilyn Fenn.
very easily reshot the flashbacks.
I know.
That
But
was like nothing.
money may be an issue there, I guess.
Maybe, but it
yeah,
didn't,
the
it didn't look
disappearing-
all that elaborate. Yeah,
Did you guys talk about the disappearing pieces? Was that just mentioned?
yeah. That
what
was
is-
when the car would explode. It would like the pieces of the car would disappear, but then it would all
No. There was always
There was always
piece.
something left behind.
There was always one piece that was kind of goldish or metallic chrome, and it would disappear. And I think that was his
It
his
just looked
time left.
Oh, I didn't notice. I thought it was just like his leg brace thing.
No, there's always something flashing out of
Yeah.
existence after every kill.
It was almost like a video game where you kill the bad guy and it leaves something behind and it blinks.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe that was part of his outfit, because he had those like weird ass like hydraulic leg braces, and one of the
That's
times
true.
it flashed out of existence, it was one of those braces.
You're
Yeah, maybe
probably
that's what
right.
it was.
So I think
Yeah.
it was like all just pieces of his outfit, his gear,
There's
And
a
then-
much
and then when
deeper
he-
story in this movie.
and maybe
that they
that's
didn't
why
tell
he
us.
couldn't do it anymore because
he had
because
finally lost all of the suit.
Mhm.
right. And
Oh,
it was the
okay.
last
So
power. His power was gone.
let's talk about the end, and then there's one more thing that I want to say about this movie that's really, really brief. But the end. Okay, so he gets rid of Packard.
Yeah.
He finally gets his full revenge on
Yeah.
the gang. And but before, and then when he gets that, he drives over because well, hang on a second. Before that, at one point in the movie, Charlie Sheen picks up Sherilyn Fenn. They're riding on his motorcycle through town, and Gutter Boy and Skank decide that they're just going to murder both of them, which I think would really piss off Packard if one of those two people were murdered, and would make him really happy if the other was murdered, if you know what I mean. And they like Sherilyn Finn's character has seen some shit in her life. I mean, that's all there is to it, because this is death defying. Like the getaway from Skank and Gutter Boy.
Yeah.
They want to shoot them with a shotgun. He's driving like a maniac on that motorcycle. She has been a part of some very, very stressful things.
You seem stressed out.
I am. I'm worried for her. I am worried for Carrie's the mental state.
Don't worry, she forgets bad things after they happen. She'll be all right.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
so, because then she's
She's about to relax in a natural hot spring with Charlie Sheen
exactly. So
and
but
half
anyway,
of her bathing suit.
yeah. And so later he takes her home. Basically it's like he goes off, he gets Packard, and then he drives up in the Interceptor, and then although it is cool how Packard dies because it's like he sees the Wraith in the road, but it's actually the car. It's like that was kind of cool. Like his like it was him seeing his own obsession. It was a very Moby Dick kind of situation at that point. He's seeing the person, not the car. If that makes sense.
Sure. I get what you're saying.
But then, like he smashes into the car and explodes, and that last leg brace or arm brace or whatever it was disappears. And that was it. So he goes and he goes over to Carrie's house, and he gets, and she's like, oh my God, there's that car. But she doesn't seem all that worried because I think at this point she's numb to danger. And he gets out and he transforms into, Charlie Sheen. He's like, whoa, that's, ooh. And he's like, all right, hey, you know who I am. I'm Jamie. This was the best I could do. It's fucking Charlie Sheen, like mid-'80s Charlie Sheen. That's the best he could do.
That's not what he meant.
I know, but like it's still, it was like, that's kind of funny. But anyway,
your boyfriend got an upgrade. You're welcome.
And that was the best he could do.
Thank some maybe space people. We don't know.
Well, I don't know. I think he's probably from the same people that put Ghost Rider out there. Like he's a spirit of vengeance. So he's like, hey, I got one quick thing to do. I got to go see my little bro, and I'm going to give him this bitchin' car. So I'll see you. I'll see you later. I'll be back, and then we're gonna go someplace. And so he shows up, and he's like, hey, little bro. And he's like, wow, it's like I don't even know, or he says something, and he ends the sentence with brother, and he's like, yeah, you got it right there. And he's like, oh, and Matthew Berry at this point really chews the fucking scenery because Charlie Sheen's like, all right, here, I got something for you. It's a really cool ass car. By the way, it's implicated in many, many deaths. Yeah. But don't worry about that. It's cool.
Hey, but it says Dodge on it now.
But it's cool. Yeah, it's like there's no way there's no way Randy Quaid's gonna know that this is the same car. But anyway, he's like, yeah, okay, I'll see you later, little bro. Have a good one. I'm gonna go and get my lady. And like he drives off, and like the brother is like desperate for his big bro to come back. Oh, big bro. And he's just like, bye. I gotta go see about a girl. And he then picks up Cheryl and Finn. And then what? Do they ride off to eternity? Did they just say, fuck you, Tucson, Arizona? We're out of here? Where do they go? What happens to them? like, is she like, cause he says we're destined to be together. And she's like, oh, that's nice. That makes my bits feel all warm and fuzzy. And he's like, yeah, hang on a second. And he comes back and he picks her up. And then where do they go?
They go to the next town and work at a fucking burger shop.
They ride off into the sunset. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Jeff. That's like a classic ending to a movie.
But
right?
There's still lives here that need to be sorted out here. I'm just saying.
Probably not.
Little brother's going to be able to stand on his own now.
Yeah, my problem with the whole thing is that he probably should have spent more time with his little brother than worrying about the girl.
Well, they chatted for a few minutes at the.
But man,
you're right. A few minutes. You're right.
His little
he got his bro time in.
Yeah, his little bro can't do anything about that raging hard on he's got for Cheryl and Finn.
Well, it's hoes before bros in this movie.
Yeah, in this movie, it's hoes before bros. Yeah. I mean, Carrie Johnson is one of my notes. Carrie Johnson is fucking hot. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's like she probably has parents. She's got to give 2 weeks to the Burger Shack. And, and it's like all this, they're going to have a really tough job or life ahead of them.
Your anxiety for her, like in what she's seen in life, has spread too far.
Every time,
just like this movie has.
Off into the sunset as ending to a movie, I'm going to be like, oh Jesus, this will give Jeff anxiety.
Jeff off.
This is going to piss me off.
Anxiety. It's going to keep him up.
I'm going to be thinking about it all night tonight. Yeah.
It's like, where did Pale Rider go? He's just gone. I don't remember the end of that movie, actually. I shouldn't have said that.
Where did Shane go?
I think I'm just going to call it. We did it.
Yes,
I'm not even going to say I think we did it. We did it.
We're good. We're good. The Wraith.
The Wraith.
Checked off the books.
Yeah.
An evil spirit, and it ain't cool.
Whatever he was weird and pissed off.
That's a pretty good 80s line.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. No, this is I think this movie deserves a look if you're into 80s horror. It's certainly different. It is absolutely different in terms of a movie. It's got a pretty good soundtrack for
surprisingly
Yeah.
good soundtrack
It's
for
really good.
for the movie. Yeah.
I mean, we already talked about Ozzy and Stan Bush and Lion and Robert Palmer, but you got Billy Idol, you got Bonnie Tyler, you've got Motley Crue's
I
version
think
of Smoking
Jeff
in the
forgot
Bosom.
I said we did it.
Yeah,
But
he did
anyway.
forget. He just wants to keep talking about it.
No, that's fine. No, I was just saying, it's like
We've gone on longer than the movie is.
No, we haven't.
No, we
but
have not. Not even
getting
close.
If Jeff keeps at it, we will.
No, I was just saying, it's like I was just giving my recommendation for anybody who
That's fair. I'm fucking
wants
with
something different from an 80s horror movie, because that is really what this movie has to offer. It is absolutely different, and that is where all of my praise for this movie goes to, is that it's just not a slasher, it's just not a supernatural movie.
you. Sure,
It's got
It
a
is
cool
supernatural.
fucking car.
in a way, but
But
And
not
Sherilyn
just
Fenn's
the
boobs.
supernatural.
right.
Yeah, cool car.
Yeah,
It's
I would say if you like cars,
Yeah.
watch this movie. If you like explosions, watch this movie for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
If you
For
like
sure.
boobs, watch this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little bit more brief than the cars, but yeah, I mean, I guess.
Oh, I thought you were talking about gut and skank.
Boobs.
They're
They are
boobs.
boobs.
They are
They are a
boobs.
couple of boobs.
All right.
Yeah,
What's
no,
next?
I
What's
like
next
this
week?
movie, and
What's
it's
next
plenty fun.
week?
Next week is a better movie, though, in my opinion.
Sure.
It's got about as many plot holes, but
I think it handles them differently.
it is.
Let's talk about it next
I
week.
would
What
say
is it?
yes is a better movie.
So next week, really, here we are right at the end of summer, and according to the calendar, although I'm sure it's going to be 97 degrees in fucking October because the earth is trying to kill us. But let's transition now towards fall, and let's really prep ourselves for spooky times. What do you guys think?
Sure. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Always.
So we've got a real atmospheric one next week in 1973's Messiah of Evil from Gloria Katz and Willard Huyck. I love this movie a lot. We got a lot to say about it next week, but that will be next Wednesday, September 27th. And that's going to be a real good primer for spooky times.
Sure.
Next, another really good primer for spooky month is also on Monster Mondays this upcoming Monday. And that is 1981's The Evil Dead.
Never seen that one.
You never seen that one, huh?
No.
So that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
well,
Sounds nice.
well, I decided, I'm going to go ahead and make it a twofer. And the first week of October, I decided to do its sequel. I don't know if you guys even knew it had a sequel.
Wait, did you
Ooh.
say Monster Mondays or B Movie Enema?
Monster Mondays.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sorry.
As far as B Movie Enema is concerned, this upcoming Friday. So anyway, let me go back real quick. Messiah of Evil on next Wednesday and The Evil Dead on the Monday before that. Both of those, filmseizure.com. Check us out at wherever you find your podcast, and you can check out our socials, primarily Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. But this Friday at my website, bmovieenema.com, it's still Russ Meyer month, and the penultimate chapter of Russ Meyer month 2, Black Snake. I had to do it because that title disappoints. Because I thought it was going to be something else. It's not. Anyway, so anyway, Black Snake. Not one of his best. Actually, it's probably one of his worst. So
Ooh.
come read all about it. But you can do that at bmovieenema.com. But next week, spooky time begins for several weeks in a row. And we will go to our Blood Moon Festival and Point Doom. Until then, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chuck Moore.
I am Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.